New leaf in the thick forest of the mountainsides was far more sparse than it had been in previous years. The forest floor was lacking in its usual abundance of thick plant life, where ferns had tumbled over one another in waves of leafy green, while bold wildflowers and thistles had grown in abundance in the dappled patches of shadowed forest sunlight. Now, however, the forest floor was sparse and still bare in many places, the tender shoots of new leaf plants having been destroyed by the fire that the star stones had brought down from the sky. As a result, the prey was far more scarce as well, the tiny rodents disappearing into the deeper forest in search of more sheltered places to hide, and the birds taking wing to places where the flower seed and spring berries they craved would be growing. Only the large old oak trees and the most stubborn thorny bushes seemed unfazed by the fire, their tall canopies and arching branches thick with emerald leaves that had been too high for the forest fire to reach. However, unlike the older cats of Moss Clan, Robin Kit wasn't bothered by the differences the forest faced this new leaf with plants and prey. This was, after all, the first new leaf that any of her siblings or herself had experienced in the forest. If the prey was running thin, or the usual shadowed patches of thick ferns was missing, it didn't have any impact on the spirits of the young cats of Moss Clan. Robin Kit huffed softly to herself, and pushed through the bushes at the edges of camp, her mouth full of water-soaked moss and her ears pricked. No, what she was worried about wasn't the way this year in the forest was different from the years before, when she hadn't even been born, but things that were, in her opinion, far more important than that. "Hello, is it all?" Robin Kit meowed around her mouthful of moss, her tail flicking in greeting as she finally reached her destination. She let out a soft laugh and dropped her burden on the ground in front of her, narrowing her dark green eyes and letting out a surprisingly powerful purr. Over the past few moons of New Leaf, she had grown considerably from the young leaf-bear kit she had been, only a scrap of dark orange tabby fur curled up against Mossleaf's fluffy side, into a lanky young cat with a delicately pointed jaw and wide almond eyes. Her ears, like the ears of the brother she now sat in front of, were far too large for her, but she held her head up proudly, and her eyes were warm with happiness and love as she surveyed the scene in front of her. "Hello, Lizard Pa," Robin Kit repeated, her voice soft and free of the squeaking pitch of kithood. "Sorry I'm a bit late today. Squirrely brought back a bird to the prey pile that was playing dead rather than actually ready to be fresh kill. When she let go of it, it took off and flew around the camp, startling everyone." Robin Kit purred in amusement, her head tilted to one side and her eyes narrowing as she relived the memory. "It startled Honeywish, who startled Mossleaf, and then Oakpaw ended up tripping over Mossleaf and into a bush, which woke Lionstar up, and he leapt up with all his fur bristling like an actual lion from the stories, which startled the bird even more, and everyone was running around and scattering the prey out of the prey pile before Silverfang knocked the bird from the air, and Briarstalk was able to leap on top of it and finish it off." Robin Kit laughed softly for a moment, though her laughter was only joined by the rustling of the leaves in the trees, and somehow made the forest sound far emptier. Robin Kit quieted, her eyes dimming for just a moment, but she shook herself and lifted her head high once again. "Well, when I left, Honeywish was still telling Squirreleap off about the bird. She's so prickly lately, it's like having a porcupine in camp. But at least with all the flapping around the bird did, I got a lot of great feathers out of the whole ordeal. I can add them to my collection later." Robin Kit purred happily and narrowed her eyes, letting the soft silence of the forest settle around them. "It'll get better," Robin Kit blurted out suddenly, then flicked her ears back in embarrassment. She coughed softly and lifted her head up again, staring at the cat, and she refused to think of him as anything other than a cat, no matter what everyone else thought, in front of her. Her big brother, still, no matter how many leaves and roots grew out of his body. Robin Kit sighed, her tail flicking in thought, as she tilted her head and studied him. The last few moonrises, as the weather warmed, a few new leaves had sprouted and unfurled from behind his ears and around Lizard Paw's eyes, but today there didn't seem to be any change. With a soft sigh, Robin Kit bent and picked up the heavy balls of wet moss that she brought every day, squeezing their water out across his roots and letting some of it drip gently across his face and down his mouth. Her task done, she settled back, her eyes narrowed as she critically surveyed her brother, and then nodded slightly to herself and settled down next to him, purring softly, and began washing his face and chest gently with her tongue, as she did every day. The sounds of the forest were distant and muted around them, with only the soft rustling of the leaves of the great oak overhead as company. Here, the forest was almost silent, as it had been ever since the sky stones fell and the fire came. The clearing was not dangerous. It never had been, as far as any of the cats could remember. But it was so silent, almost as silent as Leaf Bear, now that the forest spirit was missing. Not even the birds or small squirrels or butterflies appeared here anymore. Robin Kit lowered her head, pressing her nose hard against her older brother's side, the leaves that grew along his neck tickling her large ears. "I won't leave you alone, though. I know one day you'll wake up. Doge says she doesn't know what is going on, and it has something to do with the forest spirit, and until she returns, or until Mossleaf can learn more about her powers, we may not be able to help you. But I won't give up." Robin Kit let out a soft sigh, almost a sob, and burrowed her head harder against her brother's side. "I'll learn all about the herbs that Doge knows, and then even more, if I have to, and then maybe I can learn how to help you too. And even if I can't help you, maybe you'll still wake up, and when you do, I'll be here." Robin Kit sniffed, shaking herself and taking a few deep breaths to regain her calm. She wasn't a kit anymore, after all. There was no point in crying. And now, even if she did cry, her mother Mossleaf couldn't hear her anyway, and... Robin Kit flicked her ears to chase the thought away and stood up, licking her chest a few times to calm herself, before looking back down at her beloved older brother. She had always felt closer to Lizardpaw than Oakpaw or Redkit, despite being Redkit's littermate, and the idea of giving up and assuming that Lizardpaw was forever going to be more plant than cat was not something she'd accept. "One day, Lizardpaw," Robin Kit murmured. "Even if I can't learn the secret of how to help you, I'll take care of you, I promise. And then when you wake up..." Robin Kit smiled and brushed her paw over her face, drawing in some deep breaths. "Then I'll be so happy, and I'll show you how big my feather collection has become. I promise." With a soft, almost forced laugh, the young cat leaned down and picked up the balls of moss she had brought with her. She leaned forward and touched her nose to her brother's forehead one last time, and turned back into the bushes around the clearing, her gaze firm and determined. Behind her, Lizardpaw slept on. "I'm expecting kits, Briarstock, and you have to take responsibility." Honeywish snapped, her eyes narrowing as her frustration and increasingly short temper wore away at the very last of her patience. "We've been over this before. I thought you would deal with the situation with more maturity, honestly." Honeywish lashed her tail, her eyes glinting as she glowered at the shifting red tom in front of her. Briarstock sighed and lowered his head, his white paws tugging at the grass under his feet. His ears flicked back, and his body was hunched with the discomfort of the conversation they were having. "I'm just not sure I'm ready for this, Honeywish. This is just so much responsibility. I'm not sure I can handle it." "Of course you can," Honeywish snapped, slashing at the grass in front of her in frustration. "You already take care of Oakpaw, don't you? You understand what it means to be in charge of younger cats." "But having an apprentice is different than what you're asking of me," Briarstock meowed, then sighed heavily. "I know you really wanted these kits, but I just don't feel I'm ready to take on this responsibility." "You don't have to be ready," Honeywish hissed, rolling her eyes in annoyance. "The kits are coming, and you have a duty to help the clan. You are going to take my place as deputy if you like it or not. But don't think this means that you can't do your absolute best at it, do you understand?" Honeywish sighed. "I know you're worried about the responsibility, but the clan needs both kits and a strong deputy. You're the only cat I trust with the job, and I need you to take the responsibility and fill the position." "Besides," Honeywish smiled and butted her head against Briarstock's side, "it is just until I'm back out of the nursery, anyway. Don't think I'll let you take my position as deputy forever. I earned it, after all." Honeywish flicked her tail playfully and glared at Briarstock until he finally smiled back, lowering his head slightly. You have. All right, I'll fill the role like you and Lionstar have asked me. I still don't know if I'm ready to be an active deputy, but... Briarstock sighed, his eyes bright as his gaze caught Honeywish's. Since you are asking me, it is an honor to do my best. Good! I'm glad that's finally settled. Honeywish purred, stepping back. I have been waiting to go eat some of the honeycomb that Silverfang got for me for ages. Would you believe that is where the old fool disappeared off to last night? Off tracking bees, just so I can have a bite of honey. Honeywish huffed softly to herself, though she couldn't keep the warm glow of happiness out of her voice. I'll bet if I don't get over there soon, Redkit will have nibbled all of it too, the greedy little Tom. He's growing like a weed lately, and is utter pest to the prey pile, if you ask me. Keep that in mind while you're deputy, of course. It's about time that growing cat pulled in some of his own prey. Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Sims 3 The Warrior Cats Challenge! And here we have some adorable Tommy Jellybean toes that we can look at while we have a brief behind the paws clip added onto the end of this video. This is not an actual gameplay moment, so just sit back, relax, enjoy watching the cats, and for those of you who have made it this far, you have a very special opportunity in your paws right now, and that is to help me decide what we are going to do with the Warrior Cat series from now on. I have finished my big giant move that was so exhausting, and I am settling into my new home in Michigan. I'm sure you guys know that from all of the update vlogs and the vlogs that were really fun to do about moving to Michigan on the vlog channel. And I am so ready to dive back into all of our adventures and all of our stories, and I've missed our cats so much. And when I was getting ready to record this episode, I thought it would be really easy to do these new mini episodes. I thought that's how we were going to do things from now on, where we do one, maybe 2 mini episodes, and then we switch back into an episode with just a teeny bit of role-playing at the beginning and a whole bunch of gameplay. Turns out this mini episode took me just as long as a normal episode does, because the role-playing and all of the scene writing was 4, 5, 6 times as long as I normally do. So either way, I still didn't gain more time in my day, and it has been about 6 hours from when I had sat down, started writing, worked on a whole bunch of things behind the scenes that I can't even begin to tell you how much there is, to get ready for recording. It's been almost 6 hours now, and that's fudging in a little bit of the time. I don't know what Willow's doing, but she's doing something, having a good time about it. That's what that noise was. But that's fudging in a little bit of the time that it actually takes me to go ahead and process everything, edit the video, upload it, make sure everything's good to go there. And that's a ton of time out of my day. And I'm like, phooey! The goal was to have daily warrior cats in some form or fashion. And I was going to do that with the little mini episodes, but it looks like that's gonna be a little trickier than I thought. So I wanted to ask your guys' opinions so I can figure out how to start managing my time, how to start managing how to write everything. What do you guys want to see? And that's going to help me figure it out. I think the bottom line is almost all of you, without fail, want to see simply more warrior cats. And I think that's amazing. And that's what I want to do too. But do you guys want to see more of these role-playing scenes where there's mini episodes that are entirely devoted just to showing off some of the personalities of the cats, explaining some of the plots that the cats get up to? There's little Robin Kit. Don't you guys just totally feel for little... Oh, she tripped for little Robin Kit and her stories and her plots and her feather collections now. I think that's so adorable. So you guys want to see more of those kinds of things, even if it means unfortunately, I just don't think I can bring the roleplay episodes to you guys every day the way I wanted to. I think Warrior Cats is going to be every other day, no matter what, because it takes so many hours, and I run almost 12 to 14 other series at the same time. I just don't think I can do it, but I want to hear your guys' opinion on if that's really what you want. And I want to hear your guys' opinion. Bye, little red kit. Do you just want to see more warrior cats? So would you be okay with just shorter role-playing scenes at the beginning, and then me following the cats around, us rolling the random generators primarily behind the scenes from now on? I will just tell you guys the results. I'm not going to tell you about the 6 or 7 random generators I roll for each little event anymore. Hi, Honeywish! And yeah, if you guys just want to see more warrior cats, are you okay with shorter roleplay scenes and more infrequent like more infrequent full roleplay episodes? Or do you want to see more of the roleplay, even if it means less warrior cats? I kind of feel like that's where I'm at right now. If it means following the cats around and just telling you guys verbally as we follow them around about some of the plot things that have been going on, like the way Red Kit has really been watching as his brother Oakpaw trains with Briar lately, and he's getting super excited about that. And if you guys want to have just me tell you kind of some of those things instead of have to show you with the role playing, I can tell you guys faster while we follow the gameplay. You know what I mean? And we can learn and watch the cats develop more and see the plot move along faster. And I think I could some days like maybe get episodes out every day if we do it with short role play at the beginning and then do it with mostly gameplay. So if you like that balance and you're okay with that, and you're okay with me telling you the story of how Tommy and Squirrelleap have been kind of having a friendly competition to chase squirrels, and neither of them has caught a single one yet since there's so few squirrels in the forest. If you're okay with me kind of telling you that instead of doing the roleplay scenes, I can make more warrior cats faster. Oh, that's so sweet. See Squirrelleap and Mossleaf. And we can also see how the cats interact on their own and the way that the story changes outside of my control because of just what the cats do and what the random generators do and what the cats trigger for random generators. If we do a little bit less roleplay, but more gameplay. However, if you are really here because you love the roleplay scenes, are you okay with less warrior cats if it means that you have those roleplay scenes? I need to know what you guys really want and what balance you guys really want. And I think I'm kind of leaning at this moment, now that I've talked through it a little bit for this behind the paws with you guys. And yeah, these behind the paws are because I love and cherish you guys so much as a community. And I love what we have created together with these cats so much that I am willing to put this power like in your guys' hands and be very open with my thoughts about where things are going with you guys. Willow's clapping and really happy off somewhere. Oh, Squirrelleap, you're so cute. But if you guys just want to see more warrior cats, and this is kind of where I'm at right now, I'm thinking primarily, no matter what, you guys are mostly interested in just having more warrior cats. So at this moment, I'm thinking if I am allowed to do just short roleplay scenes at the beginning and then kind of verbally tell you about the plots and the stories and the cats and their little interactions that have been going on during the gameplay portion and occasionally splice in some of the roleplay like we do, I can give you guys more warrior cats. I might even be able to do it like both days on the weekend and multiple times during the week and thus have more. But if you guys mostly want to be patient and you would prefer to have those role play scenes, then I cannot. There's just no way. I think because it takes so many hours and I run so many other series and have to take care of myself and my life and spend time with my wonderful darling as well. I just don't think there is any way I could get you daily episodes if it's mostly going to be role play. I think I could almost, especially if we do it as a special event, get you daily episodes, and I am pretty darn confident I can definitely get you every other day episodes if we just do shorter roleplay at the beginning and then mostly gameplay. So I want to know what you guys really want. And what the heck? That little bug is just climbing around on top. He has a little water bug next to the meteor. And then you guys get to see random silly things like that. Or Robin Kit trip over her own paws. And part of me is really leaning towards doing that, even if it means less roleplay scenes, even though I thought originally we were going to dive headfirst into doing more roleplay scenes, because it'll give us more time with the cats. It'll give us more time to see how they interact and how they behave. It'll give us more episodes. And it'll also give you guys more power to help write those stories, to contribute the fan fiction and the fan art and do the role playing that you do and ask the questions for StarClan Speaks that you do that bring the stories to life. So I don't know if I made any sense, but I hope you guys can kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. Hey, Red Kit. See, this is so fun. This is so fun and nice just to sit back and watch and see what they're up to. And the way the gameplay would work is we would have like our 4 to 7 minutes of the roleplay scenes at the beginning of the episode. I would tell you guys how Silverfang has been collecting the honey instead of actually having to spend 3 hours writing dialogue about how he's been tracking down bees and gathering honey for Honey Wish. I could do that instead. And then we can keep going, and then we can have more episodes, or I can do the scenes. So it's up to you guys. I want to hear your opinion. More roleplay, or do you want more gameplay? If it means there's either more roleplay but less episodes, or more gameplay, less roleplay, but more episodes. And the cats really do make the stories themselves more often when we have more gameplay. So there is that too. So, and we have the random generators happen more often when there is more gameplay. So there is that to consider. And that's why I was able to do daily episodes or even 2 episodes a day back when we first started the Warrior Cat series, because we had less role play. So I know it would take a lot of stress off my shoulders, but if the role play is part of the quality of what you love about our Warrior Cat series, then, and I'm not saying I'd get rid of it, just that I would cut down on it a little bit because it's exhausting me. And I just can't give you guys tons and tons of episodes with frequency if I have to do all that role playing for 4 hours. So what do you guys want? Do you just want to see more cats? I feel like right now I just want to see more cats. And what I would like to do is trim down on the roleplay and trim down on the full roleplay episodes and switch to mostly gameplay episodes, like roleplay, gameplay with some of the scenes, like when we roll a random generator and something dramatic happens, we do a little scene, and then relying on you guys as a community to make the fan art, especially, and the fan fiction and the role playing that brings the scenes, the things that happen, the little things that we might just talk about in gameplay to life, because you guys do an amazing job of that. But if you'd prefer seeing something a little bit more professional, it's all roleplay, let me know. I love this series. It's become something absolutely fantastic and wonderful. And I hate to see it slow down because I'm only one person. I'm only one Seri. And I have so many personal projects and I have so many things I have to do for my business of being the Pixel Biologist. Already, there's so many series I'm already juggling. It's really frustrating for me when I want to give you guys more and I can't. But look at what the gameplay would have offered us. We would see Honeywish investigating the medicine den. We would see Silverfang following her around and he's following those bugs again, probably looking for more bees so that he can track down more honey for her. We would see those things that I can't even think of because the cats do it on their own. I feel like that's a good balance. So anyway, I've explained my little bit and I've left it up to you guys. I honestly think I could bring you an episode of Warrior Cats on both days of the weekend, and I am going to start making them a little shorter as well, so they're not 40 minutes long anymore, because school has started up again, and so I know a lot of you guys have less time, so I'm thinking 25-30 minutes, and if that's too short, let me know, and then I can bring them to you more often. So I want to know, do you want short episodes, long episodes, more roleplay, more gameplay? Do you want more frequent episodes or fewer episodes with a lot more role playing? I would love to know what you guys are really looking for. And I just want to reassure you guys, don't forget, I do have some vague plots in mind, but this isn't like a book. This entire thing is written as we play it. So it does change from episode to episode. And so it would actually take a ton of strain off of me if I can just kind of talk you guys through some of the events without having to make every single thing like a roleplay scene. But if that is what brings the Warrior Cats to life for you, then I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do that work and I'm willing to be there for you guys. It just means that I wouldn't be able to make as many episodes as quickly. So the power is in your paws. I think I know in my heart where I want to go, but I'm going to see what you guys have to say about things. And I really feel like I just want to let you guys know, if it means less roleplay, are you guys okay with that? If it means more gameplay, are you guys okay with that? Because there'll still be tons of story. The cats do almost all the story on their own. They really do. And we just take our hands off and we let them go. And we'll still have role playing and we'll still have a lot of random events going on. Probably a ton more because now I'm going to have more time to work on those random events. And are you guys okay with that? Just let me know. And let me know what you want from Warrior Cats. What is it that you're looking for from Warrior Cats? And just please remember, this is written from every episode to episode. It's not written like a gigantic plot. I can't make it like a really tight book. Sometimes the random generators will make a decision that you think isn't like a good plot decision or a story decision. But I like to follow the random generators because it keeps it really fun and vibrant for me as a series. So just remember, this isn't a book. It changes from episode to episode, and that's why there's so much of the burden of my not being able to work ahead. I have to write the script for the next episode and then stick to it. And then I have to do the episode and then I can keep going. But until I do the episodes, I can't write a script beyond that. Last time I tried to do that, the game threw meteors on my camp and destroyed Moss Camp. I had like 7 episodes pre-written so that I could make things easier for us. And then I got meteors. So I learned never to do that again because that actually was about 2 weeks of my time destroyed. that you guys will never see, that I'll never be able to show you guys. It's like 25 pages of script that I had to just go, well, this is useless now. So I learned not to do that. And I learned that at its core, don't forget, this is a Sims 3 challenge. We're playing the Sims 3 game with Warrior Cat's influence. So it will never be what I wish sometimes it could be, as actual tight, properly written, properly plotted out books. Trust me, I did go to school while I was in university. I did take several creative writing classes, and I loved them, and I thought I was going to be an author. And I know what it takes to write a good story, and we have holes a mile wide in some of ours, and that's just the way it goes because we're playing a video game. At its heart, we're playing Sims 3. So, but if you want me to kind of cover that fact up with lots of role playing, let me know. And if you're okay with just embracing the fact that this is gameplay, then let me know. And that'll help me figure out how much to invest my time in. So I'm just rambling because I feel so deeply and strongly for this series and the cats that have appeared and everything that's going on. And I care so much about you and all of you who have become members of our community because of these precious cats. And I have people who are like, please, I want plushies. Please, I want Etsy gifts or Etsy creations I can buy of the warrior cats. And it just amazes me that you want to bring them into your life so deeply. So I want to bring them to you. And I just need your guys' help in figuring out what the best format is. Do you want them more often and more relaxed? Or do you want it like tight and professional and strict, but you're okay with it maybe 2-3 times a week? Let me know. And now that I've gotten that out of my system, welcome back, you guys. Welcome back, and after I hear back from some of you, I will be able to figure out how and when to bring you the next episode and what it will be like, and we'll dive in and just embrace the adventure and the discovery and all of the amazing role-playing and fan fiction and fan art you guys contribute to build up this beautiful story. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!